For me to feel like champion, I must be in the water, racing the best, touching the wall first, then I will feel like champion. I must train for 4 more years. 4 years later, the Olympics come to Los Angeles, and the Russians don't. They boycotted us in return, and so he's watching his black and white television set in Moscow as American Mike O'Brien wins the race without breaking 15 minutes. 1985, World or European Championships. I come running up to Vladimir. Vladimir, you're still the only man on the planet better than 15 minutes. Now you must feel like a champion. And he says, no, John, I do not feel like champion. I must be in the water, racing the best, touching first, then I will feel like champion. I must train for 4 more years. I say it's the first time I ever heard a Russian sound like Richard Nixon. 3 years later, 1987 European Championships, 1,500 meters freestyle, Vladimir Salnikov finishes 9th. You see, it's very rare in my sport for a career to last over time. You defend a national title year to year, that's really good. You defend an Olympic title, that's almost unheard of. And he's trying to be the best in the world over 4 Olympic Games. Not one of the best 8 in his continent, still one of the best 2 in his country. He did, in fact, make his 4th Olympic team. And in 1988, before the fall of the wall, the Soviet Union had a minister of sport whose office was in the Kremlin for the purpose of promoting their government's propaganda. And he had a meeting with Vladimir that went something like this. Vladimir, 4th Olympic team, very, very good. But your times lately, not so fast. You already have the gold medal. You already have the world record. But if you go to the Olympics, you will embarrass our country. Come as an assistant coach, ambassador, but please do not swim. And in a nation that prized obedience more than anything else, Vladimir stood up and he said, but I must swim. So when he walked out onto the pool deck in Seoul, Korea in 1988, he had a black check mark on his Communist Party membership card because he was willing to risk the government's agenda in the pursuit of his personal dream. When he walked out onto the pool deck, swimmers from every country in the world had been raised for the last 12 years in the shadow of this great man. And they'd all walk up to him. Germans and Russians and Italians and Canadians and Americans would all come and say, Vladimir, it's good to see you. You look great. We wish you the best of luck. We hope you win the gold. And they'd come walking over to me, the commentator, and they'd say, but it would take a miracle because this guy's old. At the time, he was 27 years old. Old for a swimmer, I guess. Bryant Gumbel throws live to John Naber and Don Crickey for the start of the men's 1500. Don says, who do we like? And I tell the truth. I'm a journalist. The fastest qualifier was the East German, followed by the West German. The American is a dark horse hope for a bronze medal. Bang goes the starting gun. 8 swimmers hit the pool. And if you ever watch live television of the Olympic Games, you know they stay nowhere for 15 consecutive minutes. We break for commercial. Out of commercial, a little volleyball, a little boxing, a little track and field. They rejoin the swimming race with about a minute to go, and lo and behold, who is leading the field in the outside lane? The Russian swimmer, Vladimir Salnikov. You see, he had put a burst of speed in the middle of the race. He'd broken from the pack, and the field said, it's just the old man, and they let him run. But as the race approached its conclusion, the pursuit guys said, hey, he's not slowing down. Come on, guys, let's get him. And in unison, they started increasing their turnover and decreasing his lead. They're now 5 feet away, and then 3 feet away, and then 1 foot. They're nipping at his toes. And I remember I haven't told the viewers at home this wonderful human interest story. So when they join us live, I hear my own voice say, Don, this guy came in 976. What if you like champion? 4 years later, breaks for Naber, but doesn't count because the boy got to go 1984. But he didn't come to. I'm telling all this story, all it was just gushing with the backstory. The crowd's yelling and cheering. I stop to catch my breath. And I note at the far end, the American swimmers not racing that night sit together in the bleachers. They've got white nylon sweat jackets with blue USA on the chest, and they're all out there yelling. The team captain has his back to the water. He's waving his sweat jacket, and he's leading the American team in a cheer that goes, Go, Vladimir! Go, Vladimir! I don't know if Vladimir could actually hear them or not, but I do know we've zoomed in for the final 3 strokes, and Vladimir turns on his side. He extends his long hand, and his finger touches the plastic timing device at the end of the pool, and he stops the clock. Slower than 15 minutes, but faster than any other swimmer in the pool. Everyone's yelling, everyone's cheering. The camera zooms in for that all-important reaction shot, and the Russian blows a kiss in the direction of the American Olympic team. But the best stories at the Olympics don't conveniently happen in front of television cameras. What happened next took me 3 months to hear about. Vladimir was taken out of the water, damp towel dried, proceeded out for the award ceremonies, where he got another gold medal placed over his neck, and he stood to attention and listened to what would become the final playing of the Soviet anthem in Olympic swimming history. At the next games, they came as the unified team. They played the Republic anthems. This is the last time the Soviet anthem would play at an Olympic swimming event. Most swimmers can't keep food down the day of a gold medal race, but at the end of that day, we're famished. After he went through the press conference and the dope testing, he went back to the cafeteria like the one with the tea bag. 10:30 at night, he walks into a room with a wet towel over his shoulder and a nylon gym bag in his hand. When he steps into the room, about 300 athletes are finishing their late-night snack. And when Vladimir walks in the door, people do a double take. Heads are turned, thumbs are pointed, whispers begin. Vladimir, son, I remember when did you hear me just wanted to... Two American swimmers in the back of the room push their chairs back, they stand up, and they put their hands together. 2 become 4, the 4 become 8, the 8 become 16, and pretty soon Vladimir Salnikov drops his towel, his bag, and his jaw as he stares at a standing ovation delivered by athletes from every country and every sport in the Olympic movement. At 10 o'clock the following morning, Vladimir Salnikov announced his retirement from swimming. Because it wasn't the medallion, it wasn't the 15-minute barrier that moved him so many times. Rather, it was the desire to experience a particular emotional response.
That's it for day 2. Tomorrow we'll be talking about a strategy that helped Tom Wood go from $75,000 in debt to earning millions. You won't want to miss that. See you tomorrow.